Hello everyone, welcome back to Gurung's classes. Today in the photosynthesis chapter, we'll be doing this flow chart of photosynthesis. Now see here, I have made a flow chart of photosynthesis. Here what I have written is, try to understand, it's simple. If you understand this, then the whole photosynthesis chapter you'll understand from this simple flow chart. Okay, and from here some definitions also will come. See here, sunlight is there. Okay, just focus upon this. Sunlight is absorbed by chlorophyll. Fine. Sunlight is absorbed by chlorophyll. Chlorophyll molecule now gets excited, activated. That excited chlorophyll molecule now splits the water molecule, okay, into hydroxyl ion, hydrogen ion, and an electron. Okay. Sunlight is absorbed by chlorophyll. Chlorophyll molecule gets excited, activated, and then that excited chlorophyll molecule splits water into hydroxyl ion, hydrogen, and electron. Okay, fine. Now, this breaking of water with the help of chlorophyll or with the help of sunlight, in fact, what we can say is the breaking of water with the help of sunlight is known as photolysis. Photo means sunlight or light, lysis means to break down. To break down water with the help of sunlight is known as photolysis. This definition might come number one. Now, when water is broken down into hydroxyl ion, hydrogen ion, and electron. Now, what will happen to them? Hydroxyl ion actually again unites with another hydroxyl ion, okay, and it will form water again back, and then in that process, oxygen gas is produced. But no need to write all those things. What you need to only write is, okay, water splits up into hydroxyl ion, hydrogen ion, and electron, and then hydroxyl ion later on gives oxygen. So that means the question might come, what is the source of oxygen in photosynthesis? Because in photosynthesis, what is produced? Oxygen is produced as a byproduct. Yes or no? Isn't it? Plants photosynthesize and gives us oxygen. Isn't it? So the question might come, what is the source of that oxygen in photosynthesis? Then the source is water. Actually, the water which is going up to the leaf from the root via xylem. Okay. So that water when breaks up, then oxygen gas is produced. Fine. But side by side, what is also produced? Hydrogen ion, and an electron is produced. Now they have to do their work. Now what we have here is, okay, this electron and hydrogen ion is there. Who is waiting? ADP is waiting. Let me write here ADP, adenosine diphosphate. Sometimes in section A, question might come, expand ADP. Then what is this ADP? ADP is just like a courier boy or postman, and this postman is waiting. So when this electron is formed, okay, what happens is that this ADP is converted to ATP, adenosine triphosphate. So that means ATP is adenosine triphosphate. How is this diphosphate, that means there are two phosphate ions, is converted into triphosphate? How? One more phosphorus ion is added here. See here, one more phosphorus ion is added to ADP to become ATP. And in that case, okay, and in this formation, this electron acts as the energy supplier. And with the help of this electron energy, ADP is converted into ATP, okay, in which this phosphorus ion is added. Phosphorus ion is added, which is known as phosphorylation. What is it called? Phosphorylation. So addition of phosphorus ion to ADP is known as phosphorylation in presence of sunlight is known as photophosphorylation. Photo means light. Okay, you go and click a photo. No, so photo means light. Okay, photophosphorylation means what? The addition of phosphorus ion to ADP in presence of sunlight is known as photophosphorylation. Question might come in your section A. What is photophosphorylation? So please, you do write addition of phosphorus ion to ADP to convert it into ATP in presence of sunlight is known as what? Photophosphorylation. So ADP becomes ATP. Now what is ATP? ATP is, okay, chemical energy. Chemical energy. Okay. Fine. So ATP is formed here. That means energy is formed. It is ready now. Fine. To do some work, because what is energy? Energy is the capacity to do work. Now likewise hydrogen ion is here. This hydrogen ion again is added to NADP. Okay. Hydrogen ion is added to this NADP to form what? NADPH. Hydrogen ion is added to NADP to form NADPH. What is NADP? N, I hope you can see me. NADP. Nicotinamide adenine dinucleotide phosphate. Okay. So what is the full form of NADP? Nicotinamide adenine dinucleotide phosphate. Again, the question might come in section A. Okay, expand the following. So NADP might come there. Okay. So NADP is converted to NADPH. Now ATP and NADPH are formed. We have already used sunlight, we have already used chlorophyll, we have already used water. Now what is left? Carbon dioxide is left. Now carbon dioxide is waiting, okay, to get converted into glucose, because at the end what is formed? Glucose is formed. Now carbon dioxide already contains carbon and oxygen. Carbon and oxygen is there. Now what should be there to form glucose? Hydrogen. Now this hydrogen is supplied by this NADPH. Okay, so this H goes with CO2 and forms C6H12O6. That means NADPH acts as a courier boy, acts as a postman, and goes and unites with carbon dioxide and delivers hydrogen here. So when hydrogen is given to carbon dioxide, then C6H12O6 or glucose is formed, and in that case, what is needed? Energy is needed. Energy is needed to fix that hydrogen with carbon dioxide, and that energy is provided by ATP. When ATP gives that energy or uses that energy to attach hydrogen to carbon dioxide, one phosphorus ion is given again. Okay, ATP loses one phosphorus ion. As a result, ATP again forms what? ADP. So this cycle keeps on repeating. ATP again forms ADP, ADP forms ATP. NADPH forms NADP, NADP forms NADPH. Hydrogen is given to carbon dioxide, and carbon dioxide unites with hydrogen to form C6H12O6 is glucose. This is one molecule of glucose which again unites with another molecule of glucose. So polymerization takes place and forms starch. And starch is a complex sugar. Okay, this starch is then later on, stored in other parts of the plant also, like for example potato and all. Fine. So if you see here, to form this glucose, carbon dioxide is waiting. Okay, and carbon dioxide is waiting for hydrogen, and that hydrogen directly cannot attach with carbon dioxide. It has to go to a series of process, okay, in which sunlight and chlorophyll and water play a vital role. So that means there is a first section, and the result of the first section are utilized in the second section. So the first section, in which sunlight is required to make ATP and NADPH, is known as light dependent phase or light reaction or photochemical phase. The first phase of the photosynthesis, in which, or the phase of photosynthesis in which sunlight is needed, in which what? Sunlight is needed, okay, to make ATP and NADPH, is known as what? Light dependent phase or light reaction or photochemical phase. And then the phase of photosynthesis in which sunlight is not needed. Here, for attachment of carbon dioxide with hydrogen, we don't need sunlight. So that means it is that phase of photosynthesis in which carbon dioxide unites with NADPH to form glucose. Or it is the phase of the photosynthesis in which the end product of light reaction, that is ATP and NADPH, is utilized, okay, to unite with carbon dioxide to form glucose. Or in simple word, it is that phase of photosynthesis in which sunlight is not needed to form glucose from carbon dioxide. This phase is known as dark reaction or biosynthetic phase. Got my point? But the whole process take place during the daytime. This, please do not confuse yourself as a dark reaction takes place at night. No, We are discussing photosynthesis, and photosynthesis itself means the reaction that take place during the daytime. But in the daytime also, sunlight is utilized. Suppose this is the whole process. Up to here, the glucose is formed. So that means if this is the whole process from start to finish, then from here to here only sunlight is needed. After that, sunlight is not needed only. So it is just breaking the process into two sections, phase 1 and phase 2. The first phase is known as light reaction, the second phase is known as dark reaction, or biosynthetic phase and photochemical phase. Please, okay, the question might come, what is photolysis, what is photophosphorylation? Okay, so what is the full form of NADP or ATP? Okay, so next, why is photosynthesis important? Photosynthesis is very important because through photosynthesis only what do we get? We get food. Yes or no? Now, during the daytime, what you had? You took is your lunch, okay, or at dinner you take is your dinner, okay, chapati or rice. All those are the product of photosynthesis. Okay, so photosynthesis gives us food. Basic, they are the producers. Green plants through photosynthesis only they are able to produce food. So number one, number two, oxygen. Very important. Had there been no green plants, there would be no oxygen. There would be no life. Maybe then maybe life would have been formed or would have been sustained in a different way. Yes or no? Isn't it? Like chemosynthesis is also there. Some of the bacteria they survive, not photosynthetically. All green, it's not necessary that all organisms maximum is upon photosynthesis, like green plants. Okay, some depend upon chemicals also. Yes or no? Some depend upon minerals also to survive. You got my point? Okay. But major portion, huge portion, okay, they depend upon photosynthesis to produce food. So that is food and oxygen and the oxygen gas we breathe in. So photosynthesis is very important as far as oxygen is concerned, and you all know very, very well right now how important oxygen gas is. Yes or no? Okay. So we've been now the corona patients they've been buying oxygen cylinders for 25,000, 45,000, or more than that also they are ready to pay. Yes or no, just for a cylinder of oxygen to survive. And just imagine, for the past how many years we've been taking oxygen, for how many hours we've been taking oxygen, for how many minutes, for how many seconds, for how many years we've been taking oxygen from the nature for free. Yes or no? So that is why we need to respect nature and we need to plant more trees. It's very important. Okay. Next is factors affecting photosynthesis. Very simple. Okay, just like factors affecting your studies. There are various factors that affect your studies. For example, one is mobile phone, isn't it? You are studying and the phone rings. You are affected. Number two, the ambience, the room. If the room is very small and then you are sharing room with someone, okay, or you don't have a proper place to study, or your house is very near to a noisy place or a bus stand or a railway station, or you don't have your own room. So all these things matter. Number three, your body, also internal factor. If your body is not good, you're not feeling well, you're having fever, you don't like to study only. If you're having diarrhea and vomiting, would you like to study? No. Yes or no? So these are the factors. Suppose you're tired, you're fatigued, or if it rains heavily, then what do you like to do? You like to sleep. So these are the factors that affects your studies. Your friend circle also matters a lot. Your family matters. Yes or no? So likewise, there are factors which affects photosynthesis, and of which there are external factors and internal factors. Okay, like external factors. One is light intensity. If good light is there, good photosynthesis take place, because good light means the stomata opens up very well. So when stomata opens, transpiration take place, gases exchange take place. As a result, good amount of photosynthesis take place. Yes or no? And then the type of the light also matters. If it is a very dark and gloomy day, photosynthesis, the rate of photosynthesis falls. If it is a bright and sunny day, the photosynthesis rate also increases. Okay. And next is temperature. Temperature also matters. If it is cold, definitely okay. Then photosynthesis rate falls down. If it is hot, warm, like say suppose I have written here 23 degrees Celsius. See, in higher in class 11 you'll come to know there are, C3 plants are there, C4 plants are there. Say suppose we are talking about these tropical plants. Normally tropical belt plants are there. They are happy to have photosynthesis with a maximum rate of photosynthesis at 25 degrees Celsius. Okay, but when we go to xerophytic plants, yes, so in arid regions, very hot places, then they can photosynthesize even at 35 degrees Celsius also, because more than that, higher than that, photosynthesis normally stops. Normally stops because at high temperature, normally the enzymes which are necessary for photosynthesis, they stop working. Okay, but this is the range of temperature at which, so temperature also matters. Say suppose if the temperature is 7 degrees Celsius. Suppose the temperature is 7 degrees Celsius and certain amount of glucose is produced at 7 degrees Celsius. Suppose there is an increase of 10 degree. Suppose all of a sudden after 1 hour temperature becomes 17 degree. Then the rate of photosynthesis also doubles. What amount of glucose was produced at that time before 1 hour, after 1 hour, thus a double of that amount of glucose will be produced. So that means rate of photosynthesis will be doubled at an increase of 10 degrees Celsius. So again, if the temperature becomes 27, then again the amount of the glucose produced will be double. So temperature also matters a lot. Yes, but if it is very high, then at that time photosynthesis may not take place. It might in fact affect the chlorophyll present there also, because high temperature is very, yes. And if there is an increase in the temperature, carbon dioxide is also very important, which we are talking about is number 3 is carbon dioxide concentration. The amount of carbon dioxide that we have is 0.03%, and this amount of carbon dioxide which we have, okay, right now in the atmosphere is enough for the green plants to photosynthesize. It's enough. If there is a slight increase from 0.03 to 0.04 also, which is 100% increase in the concentration of carbon dioxide, okay, then also what happens is that carbon dioxide concentration will help, okay, but there is a saturation point. More than that, if carbon dioxide percentage keeps on increasing, photosynthesis will not keep on increasing. Then other factors becomes limiting factor. Other factors become limiting. For example, suppose if you are making YY, okay, and if you added too much of water, then water became too much. Then what is the limiting factor now? Now YY became the limiting factor, because there is no YY. YY is gone. Yes or no? Now you added YY also. Now what becomes the limiting factor? Now the salt becomes the limiting factor, because it became what, less of salt. Again you added too much of salt. Again it became too salty. Again YY becomes the limiting factor, or water becomes the limiting factor. So likewise, carbon dioxide concentration, if you increase or if it increases, then also the intensity of the light matters, or the amount of water matters, or temperature matters. Okay, so all things have to be very well balanced. Yes or no, for photosynthesis. And number 4 is water. The amount of water that is present in the soil matters a lot. Okay, because if water is scanty, if water is less, definitely photosynthesis cannot take place. Okay, because for photosynthesis water is very important, as water only supplies hydrogen and oxygen gas is produced. So all these factors are external factors, but some internal factors are also there which affects photosynthesis. Number 1 is age of the leaf. Imagine a leaf is very young, well matured, broad, then definitely photosynthesis will be good. But if the leaf is old, okay, very brittle, yellowish, then photosynthesis rate will be low. Number 2 is chlorophyll. Definitely, if the leaf is very green, full of chlorophyll, rate of photosynthesis will increase, because chlorophyll absorbs sunlight. If it is a variegated leaf, or if it is yellow leaf, or if chlorophyll is not there, chlorosis has taken place because of UV rays or because of high intensity of light, definitely then the rate of photosynthesis will fall down. And number 3 is number of stomata. More number of stomata, more number of gases exchange take place, more photosynthesis is there. Less number of stomata, rate of photosynthesis will fall down. So question might come, okay, explain any 2 internal and 2 external factors which affects photosynthesis, then you have to explain this. Okay, so in the next video we'll talk about the various experiments, okay, conducted in order to prove that photosynthesis, okay, the end product of photosynthesis is or photosynthesis has taken place. Okay, so dear students, kindly go through it. So thank you very much.